My next guest is Max du Preez, author, journalist, all sorts of other things, some of which don't bear mentioning anymore. Hello, Max.
Hello, John Maytham.
Is it Afrikaner vrot banane nog, ne?
Yeah.
I mean, you've struggled with being a different kind of Afrikaner for most of your personal and professional life. How does it feel to be an Afrikaner in 2025 in a time of Trump 2.0?
Yeah. Well, I'm sitting here with my application papers to become a refugee. I want to go to Wyoming. It's nice mountains. And I think I'm out of here.
Just in case, folks, Max is not being serious. I can imagine there was some deep intakes of breath amongst the audience. I mean, it's...
How absurd is that? How absurd is that? That Afrikaners, I think they should have found out first, do they sell Toyota Fortuners in America?
They do, but not in any great numbers and at a significantly inflated price. And now that Donald Trump is instituting tariffs against left, right, and center, maybe they'll get even more expensive. I mean,
yeah.
It is ludicrous. I mean, there are Afrikaans-speaking people, there are English-speaking people who are going, finally, the truth is out, and apparently, a couple of maybe even a couple of thousand people are making inquiries about taking advantage of this come and resettle with us offer. But I mean, even what one would regard as conservative Afrikaans leadership is saying this is nonsense.
Yeah, and I can guarantee you, without firm evidence in front of me, that among the 20,000 people that have reportedly have asked for a refugee status, not one is a successful farmer, and not one has a proper job. So these are peripheral figures, people who are struggling, and now they suddenly find out once you're a refugee, you can't come back home. So you can't come and have a quick braai and loopie op die plaas and say hello for Oma. That's gone. You're a refugee. So it's absurd. It's absurd.
What the likes of Freedom Front Plus and AfriForum and Solidarity and others are saying it is ridiculous. These massive land grabs that Trump is talking about are not happening, but there is enough racially based legislation which is making life hard for farmers and for Afrikaner farmers in particular. So even though Trump's response is out of all proportion, there is a flame which is causing some smoke, and maybe the smoke signals are being misinterpreted as they cross the Atlantic.
Yes, I mean, there are legitimate concerns that I have, that I suspect you have, that most South Africans have. One is that black economic empowerment is being applied in a way that only benefits some, and it doesn't get to the people who really need it. There's a lot of red tape going on. Preferential procurement for black companies is being abused. All those things are true, but all those things don't make the Afrikaner a persecuted person. And I deeply resent people who I didn't have a chance to vote for or influence, that they speak on my behalf and declare me a victim of gross human rights violations. I mean, the old principle is nothing about me without me. We didn't vote for Flip Buys or Kali Kriel or Dirk Herman. They formed an activist company, and they're running, and they're very wealthy, and they trade in fear and paranoia. And I want nothing to do with them. And I'm encouraging other Afrikaners, people who identify as Afrikaners, to stand up and say, ons is nie almal so nie.
With what kind of success? I mean, obviously, you're not able to do a scientifically credible poll on this, but just in terms of the response that you're getting in the various fora where you are raising these questions, what are you getting back?
Yeah, people are saying, yeah, but, and I think this is at the basis of it all. the recipe of AfriForum. Say, look how efficient they are. They built a university and a technikon within 1 year. And it's true, and it's impressive. But that is all the more reason to say we are not an oppressed people. Afrikaners are wealthier now and are flourishing culturally and language-wise far more than before 1994. There is this thing, and maybe we should say this: if the ANC governments of especially the last 20 years, had been more efficient and less corrupt, then this thing probably wouldn't have bubbled up to the top. People would have felt differently. But, the one doesn't lead to the other, because the ANC is useless. Afrikaners are the only victims. I mean, come on, who are the real victims in South Africa? They are the poor people, and Afrikaners are, in general, among the richest.
Max, thank you very, very much indeed. Always lovely to talk to you. Author, journalist, lots of other things. Max du Preez.